Mr. Speaker, as I stand here to debate this motion today, I want to first extend my deep sympathy to the families and friends of all the soldiers who paid the ultimate price and sacrificed their lives serving their country. I also want to wish all who have been injured a full and speedy recovery. Mr. Speaker, today I'm going to refrain from using any partisan finger-pointing. Given the magnitude of this matter, I'm hoping that by avoiding partisan accusations, parliamentarians will actually debate the substance of this motion and not be distracted by one-upmanship in order to make a point. This discussion is not only critical for Canadians and our Canadian soldiers, but it's also very important for Afghanistan and our international partners. Today, many doubts persist about the future and success of our current mission in Afghanistan. The goals of the current mission in Kandahar appear to be ambiguous and uncertain. Canadians have many questions about our strategy in achieving our goals and about tangible signs of success. They have questions about the length of this mission. They have questions about the exit transition. Surely these questions deserve real discussion and responsible answers. Canadians supported the initial deployment in Afghanistan. The original goals were to help the Afghani nation dispose of horrible, radical and destructive elements and to participate in helping establish a democratic system that would enable genuine progress. Recently, though, Canadians have been observing a marked change in tone and scope when it comes to this mission. It appears that the current approach is not working. It is unquestionable that the Taliban have gained popularity and support. It's undeniable that opium growth has more than doubled over the past year. It is a fact that our Canadian troops have been suffering more casualties. I want to encourage all parliamentarians who are going to engage in this discussion to avoid the silly accusation that we've already been seeing today, that this debate offends our troops or represents a lack of support for their sincere work. Parliamentarians and Canadians are extremely proud of our soldiers and support them wholeheartedly. And this is exactly why we are having this debate, and this is exactly why Canadians are watching this debate. Our support must be expressed by being responsible when making serious decisions about their future deployments. So for anyone who is thinking about it, please spare us the rhetoric and help us focus on a healthy, serious, and effective debate that will honor the sacrifice of our soldiers and their keen willingness to serve our country. I would also caution any parliamentarian who will spend most of their time describing the ruthlessness of the Taliban and their supporters. I think all Canadians are aware of who the Taliban are. This debate is not about how evil the Taliban are. What we need to examine is how effectively we are helping the Afghan people to progress and to prosper. If our mission strategy is to chase Taliban elements around the rural areas of Afghanistan, it would be fair to assume that this would become an endless and counterproductive objective. This would only embolden the Taliban and stir resentment among villagers. The best approach to defeat the Taliban is to marginalize them by offering hopeful alternatives to Afghanis and shutting the door on their attempts to exploit frustrated and angry villagers. We must focus our efforts on creating a vibrant and rewarding environment where civil institutions are strong, job opportunities are growing, political expressions are encouraged, and education is accessible. If we make this mission into a pure military operation, no one wins. If we frame this mission as a form of retribution, it loses sight of its real intended objectives. And if we focus on engaging the Taliban in an arms race, as the minister had said, it's bound to turn into an aimless and endless goal. Our soldiers have served honorably for 5 years in Afghanistan, and by 2009 it would be 7 years. We must take a long and hard look at what we have accomplished to date, celebrate our successes, and learn from our experience. It is unacceptable that we bury our heads and pretend that all is well. There are many real and serious questions. The government is making these questions more urgent by remaining ambiguous and unclear about the future of this mission. Canadians are uncertain about the intention of this government in regards to the future of our deployment. We all know that Canada is committed until 2009, but what we don't know is the intention of this government beyond that. We have been watching the government insinuate that we could be there for an additional 10 to 15 years, but when they are asked direct questions, they avoid clear answers. With this motion, we are hoping to send a clear message to all Canadians about what the House of Commons expects in the future for this mission. By voting to support this motion, we are making it clear that we want our troops to leave the southern part of Afghanistan by 2009. By voting against this motion, parliamentarians will further confuse Canadians and send mixed messages about what our goals are. Canadians want answers to legitimate and fair questions. They expect these questions to be handled thoughtfully and openly. We don't want to lose our focus and get distracted by blind emotions or ideology. This mission is multidimensional, complex, and it deserves thoughtful deliberation. Simplistic and one-dimensional slogans are not satisfactory. One need only to examine history or current world affairs, including what's happening in Iraq, to see that even the most sincere intentions can end in failure if various cultural, humanitarian, military, and economical aspects are not considered. Reflecting on these factors is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. In fact, ignoring these factors can only be interpreted as a sign of weakness and negligence. Canadians want us to ensure that our brave troops are sent on peacekeeping missions with well-defined goals, a clearly outlined strategy, and a well-defined time commitment. Canadians can also see that we need to re-examine our current strategy and clearly explain the horizons of our goal and scope. In closing, Mr. Speaker, that is exactly why I'm supporting this motion. Thank you very much.